Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shanda on Demand. So I am not Shanda Sumter. I am so honored to be here. My name is Sara Connel. I have been training with Shanda for the last several years. And so I'm a client of Hardcore and a graduate of List Power Intensive, and I'm in Shanda's 1% program, which just basically means when you want to get really hardcore, you can go to the full Monty. And it's been such an extraordinary adventure. I'm going to be training today with all of you, part one of a two-part series that we're going to continue tomorrow on adding 6 to 7 figures to your revenue with a best-selling book. So I'm really excited to find out in the comments and here in June in the Zoom room, who is excited by that idea? Like, who loves the idea of becoming an industry leader, being seen on stages and virtual podcasts and all kinds of amazing opportunities, and attracting your ideal client and generating a lot of revenue with a book. I'd be really interested if you want to put the word book in the comments or here on Zoom in the chat, so that we know who is excited by this idea. And if you're not yet, I'm really interested after part one today and part two tomorrow to see how you feel on the other side. Now, we're going live on Shanda On Demand early because Shanda is starting List Power Intensive today, in just at the top of the hour. So the team will make sure you all have links. If you're jumping over to that experience, you will be able to do so at the top of the hour at 9 a.m. Pacific, and join Shanda there for an incredible 3-day training. So we'll get you where you need to go. And I'm so honored to get to be with you while Shanda's doing List Power, to be able to dive into this topic of best-selling book. And I say bestseller because I have a commitment that anyone who invests in doing a book creates a phenomenal return on that investment, that you not only just write the book as some kind of bucket list, but that book is a revenue generating, client attracting, opportunity expanding, door opening machine. That's what I want your book to be. That's how I teach books. And I'm going to teach you today in part one, how you might want to think about very, very easily putting a book together, how you think about outlining what chapters of your book might be. So even if you haven't been thinking about a book, just for today, have fun and play with us and try it on. And I will tell you that everything in my world opened up when I did two things. First thing I did was I wrote a best-selling book, and that let me be seen as more of an industry leader and opened a lot of doors that I'm going to teach you about today and tomorrow. And I invested to learn how to list build with Shanda and became one of her clients. And I went from struggling to earn $20,000 a year as a coach and speaker and author to I now make multiple 7 figures a year doing those exact same things. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a coach. And I didn't have to change. I already knew that I was doing the work I was on this planet to do. I truly believe I had found my purpose. I knew that I had the big magic had come to me. I knew I had books in me. I knew I had a calling in me. And what I didn't know how to do was to reach the people I'm here to serve. And I didn't know how to make money. If anyone else has had that experience, put money sign in the chat. If that has been a block, like, you're phenomenal at what you do. You are an expert. You are an innovator. You're a phenomenal, incredible leader who's here on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. And yet you aren't seeing the results in form. You're not able to really make the impact you want to make yet, and you aren't able to generate the revenue. So for me, that all changed when I became a best-selling author and I really learned how to do the things Shanda teaches you. So I'm so excited to bring those things together and pour into you. Today, like I said, I'm going to help you think about a concept for your book just in the next 10 minutes. It can be that fast. It can be that fast to figure out your book. I'm going to give you a framework you can use that the book will almost start writing itself. And then tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to generate 6 or 7 figures of income through your book. All right. So if that sounds good to you and you're on socials or anything, say good in the chat. If you're like, yes, I want to generate more money, I want to reach more people. And I do all of this because 20 years ago, I was in a job that was sexually abusive. It was right out of the Me Too era. And I was in a lot of trauma and emotional pain from the experiences I was having at this corporate job, which was supposed to be a great place for women to work, according to the top magazines. And I was spiraling into a really life-threatening eating disorder. Some really dark stuff was going on. And what happened is I found a book in a bookstore in the airport. That's all it was. One woman. She's not famous. It wasn't Brene Brown. It wasn't Elizabeth Gilbert. It was one woman who chose to share her story of trauma, of dysfunction, things she'd been through, and how she got out. And by the time I finished reading that book, about 10 hours later, nothing was going to be the same in my life. I knew that I was done with that job. I didn't know if I had to live on the street, it would be better than putting myself in that position a single day longer. And I went and got help for my mental health, my physical health. And I decided I was going to spend the rest of my life paying that gift forward. That woman's book saved my life. And I was going to write my books. And then when I got to write my book, I got on Oprah and the New York Times, and all these exciting things happened that I want for you too. And I decided I'm gonna find incredible leaders like you who need to be in the bookstore when someone needs them. You need to be online with your book. That book needs to be there as someone's lifeline. I want to make sure that you make that impact. So I'm really excited. That's what we're going to do. So just in our few minutes today, in part one, I'm going to show you a very, very simple framework you can use to outline the chapters for your book really fast. Okay, so even if you're thinking of, just pretend. So this is what I want everyone to do. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. And think about, if you were going to do a book, what would your topic be? Okay, I want you to think of a topic that you're passionate about, that you know that can help someone solve a problem or achieve a dream, and that has some urgency. Okay, so you can do that as a homework. But if you have a business, make the business, if you have a coaching program, that can be the topic of your book. If you have a methodology that you've developed, if you healed yourself from a health crisis, that can be the topic of your book. Okay, so I want everybody right now, just for kicks, to think of a topic you would just be so proud to author a book on. All right, and put that in the chat or in the comments. Like you can just say, healing from celiac disease, or conscious parenting, or helping entrepreneurs make more money, or solving climate change, or anything like that, right? So just pick something that you know is part of your mission. Just think of the topic. And those of you that are on Zoom, let me know when you have your topic. You can put the actual topic in and make it real, okay? You can actually make it real by putting your topic in. And if you've just joined us, we are exploring part 1 of 2 of how to generate 6 to 7 figures with a best-selling book. And today we're talking about what would be the book you write and how could it be really easy? You hear these horror stories of someone taking, 10 years to write a book. I help my clients write books in 6 weeks. Okay, some people want to take 3 months. That's cool, but we're going to get this drilled in today. You're going to have a framework that you can use. I love that. Isabel's going to write on in respecting sex, protecting ourselves and others. Why no means no. I love that. Oh, I love Benita about using humor in business. Yes, that is so needed. That's so joyful. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so I can't wait to read all of these. Post them in the comments if you're on socials. All right, now, here's how to easily outline and figure out how to do a very powerful best-selling book. The first chapter, so write on your thing, you have a topic of your book, and then underneath that topic, you're going to write chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1 is your origin story. Okay, what do I mean by that? If you've ever heard of superheroes, I have not seen Marvel movies, but I've definitely heard of superheroes over the years. You think of Batman, right? So Batman was a little kid and his parents were killed behind the movie theater in Gotham City. And so his origin story of why he became Batman and grew up to make the streets safe from criminals in his community is because he suffered this horrible trauma, right? And watched his parents be killed by this criminal. So his origin story is this traumatic experience. And so he became this superhero there to protect people from crime, right? And violence. So you have, all of you, a superhero origin story. Every single one of you has one. There's a reason you're doing the work that you're doing or that you're preparing. If you're here exploring, there's a reason. It might have been like Batman, it was a trauma. It might have been like me, where the reason I teach people to write revenue generating best-selling books is because a book saved my life 20 years ago. Okay. It might be something joyful. You got a divine download of a better way to do something to save people time or save people stress or save people frustration. So it can come from any of the ways it come from, but the first chapter is your way of saying to the reader, hey, I get where you are. I've been there and I've got some experience that's going to help us, right? It helps people connect with us and create rapport, and it helps the reader trust us that we're our guide. So if you've done cool stuff, if you happen to have, again, healed yourself of something in a non-traditional way, or you have a PhD, or you are self-taught and you didn't go the traditional path in your industry, and you've got these amazing teachings and learnings from being self-taught, like that goes there in your origin story. It's like you're the river guide. You want to make people comfortable getting in the raft and going on the rapids with you. Okay, so put OS in the comments or the chat if this makes sense to you. You're going to start your book with the story of why you're here. Why are you writing this book? Why are you teaching what you teach? Why are you doing what you do? Yeah, it's so exciting. You are a superhero. All right, so the second step, there's 3 parts in this framework. The first one is story, your origin story. If you're just joining us, we're doing a 2-part series today on how to write a revenue generating best-selling book, how to make 6 to 7 figures through your mission, through your story with a book. And the first step is to share your origin story of the work that you do, of your mission. Okay, are we ready for number 2? First one is story. The second one is also an S. It is the situation. Okay. At this point, you're going to zoom out in your chapter 2, and you're going to explain the situation in your industry. So for example, in the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, he wrote about his story as an entrepreneur who was making lots of money in terms of revenue, but he wasn't keeping any of it. He wasn't profitable. He was working too much. His marriage was suffering. He never saw his kids. He was spending all his money back in the business. It was miserable. Okay, so he tells his story. But then in chapter 2, he's going to explain the situation. Say, I'm not just some loser. I don't have any profits, but 90% of entrepreneurs fall into the same trap. They don't make any money. They just reinvest everything. So you're going to use a statistic. You can go on ChatGPT or Google right after this live and say, what are the biggest astonishing facts about fill in your topic, about parenting, about nutrition, about fitness, about entrepreneurship, about climate change, about spirituality. And then you're going to use something like that. One of our clients was writing about body image, and she found a statistic that 94% of women in America hate their bodies, hate. And so she started her chapter 2 with that statistic, right? It's shocking. It's crazy. All right. So I think, Benita, you said you're writing about humor in business. So you might write something that, the number one reason people stop performing in their job or they leave a job is they stop having fun. Maybe you find a statistic like that, to sort of explain your topic. Okay. So chapter 2, you're talking about the situation around your work, and you're talking about the stakes. What's at stake if they don't change? What's at stake for a company if they don't make it more fun to work there? What's at stake for a person if they continue eating processed foods? What's at stake if you continue being distracted with your kids? All right. So the first S is your origin story of your book, chapter 1. Chapter 2 is the situation, what's going on in the greater world, so that the reader realizes they're not alone. There's nothing wrong with them. It's like, this is the situation. And it's also the stakes. They keep doing what they're doing. If a business owner is not profitable and they stay not profitable, what's going to happen? They might get divorced. Their kids will resent them. They'll miss out on so much, and they'll have nothing to show for it. Those are high stakes. Okay. The final part of your outline for your book, chapters 3 through the end, could be chapters 3 through 5, 3 through 10, 3 through 12, however many chapters you want, is the third part of your outline, which is the solution. It would not be a fun book if you tell them your story and tell them how awful it is for everyone and then say, okay, bye. We learned something, right? No, we want to give them the solution. That's what makes a bestseller. Someone reads it and they say, you have to read this book. You have to read this book. You have to read this book, right? That's the solution is what you're going to take them through. So if you have a coaching program and there's 12 weeks in it, welcome to 12 chapters, right? You make the coaching program that you teach becomes the chapters of your book. If you teach a 5-pillar framework, there's your next 5 chapters of the solution part of your book outline. If you have a signature talk, you turn the components of your talk into your chapters. If you have a podcast, take your top 10 best episodes, give them those, each one gets a chapter. Brenda, you're like, I don't know how I got in this room and I am writing a book. Yeah. So I'm here guest hosting for Shanda Sumter today. My name is Sara Connel and I'm the founder of Thought Leader Academy and a client in Shanda's 1% program. And I'm guest hosting Shanda On Demand today and tomorrow for a 2-part series on revenue generating with a best-selling book. Today, we're doing what could your book be about and how to structure it. And then the rest of the training tomorrow is going to be on how do you generate 6 to 7 figures in your business with a best-selling book. All right. So anybody who's going to List Power Intensive, you can head over there right now. And I'm going to stay on with everybody to continue on this topic for a few more minutes. And then we'll get ready to all be together tomorrow at the regularly scheduled 9 a.m. Pacific time, Shanda On Demand, for generating the revenue with your book. Yeah. So if you're going over to List Power Intensive, the team will find a way to get you those login details if you need that link. And I hope you'll come back tomorrow and join us here to do, or watch the recording if you're over in List Power. It's going to be amazing. The 2 things that changed everything for me was writing the best-selling book and learning the List Power Intensive training. That's when I went from struggling to make $20,000 a year to making multi-7 figures a year. Okay, so I want everybody to hear that. You put these things together and it's fire. It's absolute fire. So Shanda is an incredible coach. She has helped me exponentially 10x and more in my business. And List Power is phenomenal. So those of you that are going over there now, enjoy, have the best day ever. And then those of you, I will hang here for a few minutes to just review, because not everyone was here at the top of the start of our broadcast today. I'm going to review the best-selling book outline, so that tomorrow I can teach you how to generate revenue, attract clients, book paid speaking engagements, get on the media, and all those exciting things with your book. All right. So just to recap, here's the deal when you're going to do a book. It does not have to be hard. I used to take years to write a book, and I write books now in 6 weeks. And the reason why is because of this outline. You're going to pick your topic, which is your mission. It's like, what's the gift you want to give to the world? What is something you can share that's going to help someone solve a problem or achieve a dream? That's your book topic. And then you're going to figure out your book chapters by the 3 S's. S number 1 is you're going to share your origin story, why you're doing the work you're doing, the cool S, I don't want to swear because we're live broadcasting, the cool stuff you've done around your topic so that your reader knows they're in good hands. They're in good hands. And then in the second chapter, you're going to talk about the situation. They're going to talk about what's at stake. You're going to talk about what's going on in the world around your topic so that the reader doesn't feel alone. And they also understand that nothing's going to change unless they do things differently. And in the third part of your outline, all the rest of your chapters are your solution. So that's your methodology, your process, your pillars, your coaching program, your podcast episodes, whatever it is you take people through, become the solution chapters in your book. And I'm telling you, I learned this framework. I made it up because I was procrastinating from writing. So who has ever participated in productive procrastination? Put PP in the chat or the comments if you've engaged in productive procrastination. Well, here's what mine looked like. I was nervous to write because it feels scary to write a book and think about what will people think, or what if it sucks, or what if my mom judges it, or whatever, right? And so instead of writing, I reverse engineered 100 New York Times best-selling books. And I said, I want to find out what every single one of these did, not the outliers, but what did all the books do? And they did these three things. The author told their story of why they're doing what they're doing, why they're called to this work, what was the catalyst for them becoming an expert in this topic. That's your origin story. Second, they talked about the situation in the world. They zoomed out and showed, hey, it's not just me, by the way. Other people struggle with body image or parenting or, creating time to meditate or eating better or exercising or whatever it is you're going to teach and talk about. So you share the situation and you share the stakes. What's at stake if your reader doesn't change? By the way, this framework will also be a killer marketing email, a phenomenal social media post. You can use the SSS book framework for any kind of content you generate, and it will be high converting and high value. Okay. The third S, your story, the situation. The third S is your solution. And so, like I said earlier, if you're a coach, if you're an expert, if you have a methodology, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you make the components of your process your chapters. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to make the book high converting and generate 6 to 7 figures with your book. Today is about what are you going to write about and how can it easily write itself? How many of you feel like you could totally outline a book today based on this framework? You could jot down a few notes about why you do the work you do and the cool stuff you've done in your industry. That's S number 1. You could go on ChatGPT or Google and say, give me some statistics on my topic and talk a little bit of bullet point out the stakes if someone doesn't take action and change. And that you could take your podcast episodes or your coaching pillars or your, legal framework or whatever it is you do as an expert and turn that into your solution chapters. I don't mean to write the whole book today, but could you outline? I am able to sit with people in 20 minutes and we identify their best-selling book concept and outline the book. And right now, and I hold my clients to it, 100% of our clients have not only finished, they've published, and they've hit the bestseller list. Everyone who's followed the exact step-by-step process has hit that goal. And that opens up everything. Speaking engagements, media, TEDx, getting paid more, client attraction, all the things. So we're going to talk about generating revenue tomorrow because I know we need to go soon because a lot of you are doing list power intensive. But please put any immediate questions in the chat. I want to hear a yes, or actually an O for outline. Let's do an O for outline. If you believe you could take this framework, and if you missed the beginning, because we went early for Shanda On Demand today, you can go back and listen to the recording. O in the comments or the chat if you feel like you could take this 3-part framework and outline a book today. And when you use this framework, it will be a bestseller because it will help people. It will give value. They will connect to you. They will feel you. Yeah, Kathy's in. I love that, Kathy. Yes, you got this. I'm so excited. Those of you that weren't on in the beginning, we went early today because Shanda's doing List Power Intensive. So I'm guest hosting today and tomorrow. Come back tomorrow to find out how you're going to make the 6 to 7 figures with your book. Today is about what are you going to write about and how can it be so easy? I reverse engineered this from 100 New York Times bestsellers. It works. And you all have, no question in my mind, the data inside you. You already have the content of this book inside you. And this will fast track the writing of this book. You will be seen as the industry expert. You'll get to go do more speaking engagements and be on bigger podcasts. You will attract the people you're here to serve because the power of a book to let someone know I've been where you are and I know the way out. That's what a book is. It's a magnet. It's a door opener. It's a portal. So I'm really excited for you guys. Who's going to do it? All right. So Kathy said, yeah, I could imagine outlining. How many of you are just going to sketch out, take 10 minutes after this live and just sketch out a book, even if you're just trying it on. Pretend you're going to the store and trying on a dress. You're just going to sketch out like, okay, I could share my story. I could talk about the situation around this topic. And here's the solution that I could teach. Yes, you tried to ChatGPT to write your book. Oh, wow. from diabetes, a book to a fertility book. Kathy, I love that. My first book is about my 7-year fertility journey. So we'll need to talk. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. I love it. I love it. All right. So yes, you can use AI to help you. Can have AI help you? You're going to still need to write, like your content, but it can give us the rough draft. I mean, it can give us the outline. It can give us the what to plug in where. Now you have the SSS framework.
No, what I was saying is I already have a book. It's from a diabetes perspective, but I now am shifting to fertility.
Got it.
I haven't told that story yet.
Well, there you go. Book number 2 coming up.
That's right.
That is freaking amazing. I love it. I love it. Anybody else excited by this? Does this open up some exciting, some of you like Kathy might have already done a book before. You might be thinking about another book or doing it differently, because a lot of my clients come to me and they wrote a book, but they didn't know how to structure it in the way for it to be high converting and revenue generating. So that's what tomorrow I'm going to teach you, how to make sure it attracts clients and it opens those doors and it generates revenue, right? That's part 2. I'm really excited for you guys to get these books in the world. Like it's such a credibility booster. People think, oh my gosh, look, Catherine, you wrote the book on it. Kathy, she's the expert. She wrote the book on it. Navine, Annette, Benita, right? So it's such a powerful, powerful thought leader move. And you're here because you're all incredible leaders and more people need to know about you, right? So last question I have before we conclude for today. On an impact scale, 0 is basically nobody knows about me, right? I'm sort of an invisible leader right now. And 10 is I am everywhere. I am omnipresent, right? What would you say your number is in terms of your visibility and your impact right now? Like, are you at, does everyone who needs to know about you yet? Right? If they don't, we're a lower number. Like I'm going to put myself at a 4 and I've got tens of thousands of people, but that's like, there's a bigger impact, right? Kathy feels like you're a 4. Okay, beautiful. So your book can be a massive 10x jumping, quantum leaping visibility, impact, and income generator, right? Catherine, you're at the 1. So you're like, great, it's all up from here. You're just getting going. Like people don't know about you. And do you know, Catherine, that there are people that need you? There are people that need what you do that don't know about you yet, right?
Yeah. This is what I've been told. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel your energy coming off those sunflowers. Look at that field. I feel like those sunflowers are representative of all the thousands and thousands of people you're here to serve.
All right.
They don't know you yet. Yes. Yes. I know, Benita, I know List Power is happening now. So look, I live in Central Time and it's 11:11, right? So that's a very special number of just good energy and abundance and all kinds of good things. So this is where we're going to leave it today, because I know a lot of you need to be over at List Power. Tomorrow, regular time, and it will be recorded, we will do part 2 on taking your book idea and how specifically do you make it a client attracting, revenue generating machine. All right. So put E in the chat if that's exciting for you, if you're excited to learn that piece, because until we learn that, it's not worth investing in the book. Yes. It's so exciting. I'm excited, Catherine. Well, I cannot wait to be with you all tomorrow. Bring friends, make sure everybody's signed up for LPI, Shanda's List Power Intensive, because like I said, the 2 moves that took me from struggling at 20,000 to multiple millions a year were writing the best-selling book and learning the List Power Intensive building. Okay. Those were the 2 things, training with Shanda and getting the book out. Right now I've authored, my 5th one comes out in 1 month. All right. So when you do it once, you're going to start cranking them out. Yeah, I know. Kathy's ready. All right. This is absolutely awesome. Megan is here. She can, I'm sure, tell us where to get the recording if you need the recording. I'll be back tomorrow at the normal Shanda On Demand time. And I cannot wait to train with you all. And we are going to light this rocket. Okay. We're going to light, today we ignited engine 1. We're in like that thing, in NASA, I'm sure there's a name for it, the scaffolding, and you sort of see the heat going, it's starting to rumble. Okay. So we have a book idea, and I want everybody who's serious about this to write a little sketch of an outline today. You can do this in a few minutes on a lunch break before bed, tomorrow morning before we start. And then I'm going to show you how to generate the revenue and attract your clients and really, really change the world with that book. Awesome, you guys. You're amazing. I'll see you tomorrow. Have so much fun at List Power. Woo! Bye.